Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Chapter 41. 300,000, Trivial. All Hitsugaya Toshiro students were very happy to hear that Lu Yu successfully passed the examination. Among them, Hinamori Momo was especially happy, looking at Lu Yu with big shining eyes, as if he couldn't see enough. Facing the classmates who came to congratulate him, Lu Yu responded one by one, neither arrogant nor asaxi, just normal. He expressed his gratitude to everyone for their congratulations. Seeing Lu Yu's calm appearance, everyone admired him even more. Everyone knows that, in a sense, qualifying for an early graduation exam is much more difficult than a graduation exam. After passing this assessment, Lu Yu's graduation examination can be said to be 9 out of 10. In other words, the current Lu Yu can actually be equivalent to an official Shinigami. But even so, Lu Yu still didn't have a hint of arrogance, and still maintained a normal look. This is what the academy teachers call the Zen mind, and they may never reach it in their lifetime. Then, when the crowd dispersed, facing the admiring eyes of Hinamori Momo and Hitsugaya Toshiro, Lu Yu proposed to celebrate and invite them to eat delicious food. Soon a group of 3 came to the cafeteria, and Lu Yu ordered 3 top-level set menus called Yuanzi School, which was very helpful for increasing spiritual power. This top-level meal is not the kind they usually eat, it is all made with rare ingredients. The entire Spiritual Arts Academy can qualify for this package, only members of the 5 nobles. This Yuanzijuku is also very original. It was established about 2,000 years ago by Shinigami Yamamoto Genryusai, the strongest of the Soul Society today. After that, Yuanzi School was restructured into Spiritual Arts Academy and began to recruit students. Among them, Jashiro Yukitaki, captain of the 13th Division, and Kyoraku Shunsui, whom Lu Yu saw today, were the first batch of students. In order to commemorate the Yuanzishu, the predecessor of Spiritual Arts Academy, the Academy cafeteria selected the most popular recipes and made the Yuanzishu set. Today, many of the ingredients in the set meal have become extremely rare or even extinct. This has caused the price of the package to reach a sky-high price. Ordinary students need to pay 100,000 yuan if they want to eat this kind of Yuanzi school set meal. The 3 of Lu Yu cost 300,000 rings. For the average Rukongai resident, this is not a small amount of money, and it can even be said that they will not be able to earn money for several years. Therefore, when ordering, both Hinamori Momo and Hitsugaya Toshiro looked at Lu Yu worriedly. But 300,000 is a trifle to Lu Yu. He had gotten a lot of Seraiti coins in the past few times when he checked in and clocked in, adding up to about 10 million. Let alone one meal, 10 meals are more than enough. When he becomes a senior official, he will have a salary of several million rings a month, and he will not be short of money. Seeing that the 3 of them did not have the family emblem, they ordered the most expensive package. The noble students not far away deliberately discussed loudly. The untouchables of Rukongai can also eat Yuanzijuku, which is really eye-opening. Where did they get the money? It wasn't stolen, was it? The thought of eating the same things as them gave me no appetite. Hearing these people's gossip, Lu Yu's face sank and he was about to have a seizure. It's fine if it's just me, but the faces of Hinamori Momo and Hitsugaya Toshiro next to him are very bad. The 2 of them are still young, but they don't have the mental quality of Lu Yu. At this moment, Lu Yu heard a cold and pleasant voice scolding the 3 aristocratic students. How can you speak to Lu Yu like this? Apologize to me immediately. It is because of people like you, the reputation of the nobles. It will only get worse. Who are you? One of the 6th grade aristocrats turned back with a look of dissatisfaction and was about to say something, but when he saw the clan emblem worn by the black-haired girl in front of him, he stammered. Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't know the adults of the Kuchiki family were eating here. I'm sorry to disturb your interest. Don't apologize to me, apologize to the 3 classmates over there. Rukia with a delicate face slightly frowned and looked serious. Obviously, she was very concerned about these people's despising Lu Yu's actions. Another aristocratic student suddenly seemed to remember something, his expression changed, and he looked at Lu Yu with extremely frightened eyes, and then at Rukia Kuchiki. Yaxing, everyone, let's go now. The other companion wanted to say something, but was dragged away by the remaining 2 people grabbing the sleeves. As soon as the 3 of them left, they immediately became a lot cleaner. At this moment, Rukia walked over to Lu Yu's table. Hello, Lu Yu. Lu Yu said with a smile. Rukia, thank you for your generous shot. Rukia shook his head and said seriously, it's because they are too much, and with your excellency's strength, even if I don't take action, I can easily solve this small problem. Lu Yu, don't blame me for being meddlesome. How could it be? Aren't we friends? It's normal for friends to help each other. Lu Yu said seriously. Then, he turned around and went to the window where the luxury package was sold, and ordered another package from Yuanzi school. Back at the dinner table, Lu Yu said to Rukia, I know that your Kuchiki family is rich, but this meal is not for the Kuchiki family, but because of thanks to Rukia for his righteousness, so please don't refuse. Lu Yu knows how proud the Kuchiki family is. In my memory, the silver-white wind veil around Byakuya Kuchiki's neck and the star tongs on his head are each worth 10 buildings, and they are also the best buildings in Seraiti. Can you provoke a man who goes out with 20 buildings behind his back? This shows the extent of the Kuchiki family's wealth. It is indeed the Wayne family of the Soul Society. However, Lu Yu didn't want to eat something soft either. It's their business that people have money. Since Rukia is so loyal to help, I still have to invite this meal. Anyway, for powerful people, money is really nothing. Okay. In fact, this meal was originally intended for Rukia, in order to apologize to Lu Yu and the others. After all, their Kuchiki family represents the Seraiti nobility. Lu Yu was mocked by other nobles, and they were also responsible. But what Lu Yu said was so good, she was speechless. And it also spoke to Rukia's heart. Although she had successfully taught the 3 abominable nobles a lesson just now, she was actually relying on the fame of the Kuchiki family. The first thing those people saw was not her Rukia, but the family crest on her body that represented the family she belonged to. But Lu Yu is different. Lu Yu really cares about her as a friend. This made Rukia, who has always been informal, very moved. So the 4 of them sat together and ate happily. Chapter 42. The top-level package is expensive, but there is a reason for being expensive. This meal, even Lu Yu, who has a tricky taste, admitted that it was indeed very good. It was a good taste. In fact, this is because the ingredients contain precious spirits that can be quickly absorbed. Nothing is more delicious to a spirit than a collar that can be strengthened. Lu Yu felt that this meal was worth it. Although this spiritual power enhancement was better than nothing to him, time was enough. Hitsugaya Toshiro and Hinamori Momo even shouted and ate happily. This is delicious. This one is delicious too. Soon Hinamori Momo thought of something and looked up at Lu Yu a little shyly. After noticing that Lu Yu gave her a doting look, he lowered his head and showed a sweet smile. Well, it's really delicious. Rukia actually doesn't like eating such an overly luxurious set meal. She always felt that this would invisibly distance herself from other classmates. She doesn't think that her noble status and beautiful appearance are so remarkable. Therefore, although Rukia can eat such a set meal every day, in fact, she has not eaten many meals in total. And I didn't think it was too delicious when I ate it, but eating this set meal with Lu Yu today, Rukia felt that it was more delicious than all the previous ones. It felt like the delicious rice balls that kind-hearted Shinigami gave her when she was starving in Rukongai. It was delicious, appetizing, mind-blowing, and satisfying, both physically and spiritually. Swallowing a big mouthful of meat again, Rukia, who was full of joy and had a pink face, suddenly thought of something, raised her head and said to Lu Yu seriously. Congratulations on passing the early graduation exam, you will be able to become a Shinigami soon, that's great. Since that day, she has seen the demeanor of that fellow countryman, Shinigami. For the profession of Shinigami and Seraiti, Rukia has a strong longing and yearning. Unexpectedly, the refugees from Inazuri, who are also male 78th districts, can still live such a glamorous life. They can be respected, ride luxurious carriages, and have endless delicacies. If it weren't for her companions being more important to her, Rukia would have joined the Spiritual Arts Academy long ago. However, this does not prevent her from having special respect, envy, and longing for Shinigami like Lu Yu, who can change her destiny by relying on her talent. I said don't be polite to me. You, one of the 5 nobles, have no heir. I'm not even a Shinigami. If you still put on airs, it will be too disappointing. Lu Yu is still very modest. Actually, Rukia surreptitiously told a secret that even his classmates didn't know. I always felt that even the five nobles should not be above the commoners. These words should not have been said by her, the five nobles. That's what Rukia has been trying to avoid. She doesn't allow herself to be a laughingstock and a burden to the family. But Rukia, who was born in the most chaotic area of Rukongai, is used to the hardships of life. It is also known that the worst and most chaotic districts in Rukongai are full of evil, not because the residents there are all born with moral corruption, they are just for survival. The hungry Rukongai poor can only survive by criminal means, which is not something to be proud of, but there are good and bad nobles who live well. So, Rukia thought that even the nobles had no reason to look down on those poor people who had no choice but to take the risk. However, even if she is one of the five nobles, there is no way to change all of this. Even eldest brother Byakuya Kuchiki can't change it. This is soul society, this is reality. Lu Yu gave Rukia a surprised look and thought, as expected of you, Rukia Kuchiki, your consciousness is very advanced. Actually, Lu Yu knew this strong girl better than Rukia imagined. Knowing Rukia's previous experience and character, he was not surprised that Rukia would have such an idea. It's just weird, Rukia would tell herself that. When did the friendship between the two become so good? Then Lu Yu said directly without any hesitation. I agree with you, and I think that since someone who has died once, it is a bit too cruel to be displaced and cry of parting. Others dare not speak, dare not change, Lu Yu dares. Rukia's remarks are just to stop, only talking about the appearance and not the essence. Lu Yu's words poked into the lungs of the soul society system. Dare to say it. For Lu Yu's courage and words, Rukia Kuchiki was both shocked and admired, nodded and said, Lu Yu said it well, but we can't help it. Even the captain can't change anything. There will always be a way. After comforting Rukia, Lu Yu didn't say much about the topic. Without strength, everything is just empty talk. The heart-to-heart conversation between the two of them has further narrowed the distance between the two, making Rukia feel that Lu Yu is even closer. She unconsciously dropped the word, Your Excellency, in the conversation. It's not that Rukia feels that Lu Yu is not worthy of respect, but because the relationship is closer, this respect can be placed in her heart. Like from a certain moment, Hinamori Momo prefers to be called Lu Yu's name rather than Big Brother Lu Yu. This is actually a closer term. It is more than words. The precocious Hitsugaya Toshiro pondered over the conversation between the two. Hinamori Momo stared blankly at Lu Yu with an obsessive look on his face, with a completely, although I don't understand what Lu Yu is saying, but it's really handsome. The young girl wrote all her thoughts on her face, pure and unsullied, picturesque and lovable. The guests and hosts enjoyed a meal, everyone enjoyed it very much, and even felt that they had gained a lot. It's not just a taste, it's a spiritual satisfaction. Except for Lu Yu, the other three faintly felt that their strength had increased by one level. Hitsugaya Toshiro and Hinamori Momo were shocked in their hearts, and looked at Lu Yu with gratitude and joy in their eyes. If it weren't for Lu Yu, they wouldn't be able to eat such a delicious and powerful top-level set meal, nor would they have such a powerful strength now. Even Rukia, who had eaten the Yuanzishu set meal a few times, looked up at Lu Yu in shock and confusion. In her opinion, although the top-level package can increase the spiritual power of Reiatsu because of the special material, it is absolutely impossible to have such an immediate effect. This needs to be maintained for a long time in order to gradually show the effect. But this time, unlike every time before, noticing Rukia's puzzled look at him, Lu Yu winked at the other party and made a shush gesture. Is it Zanpakuto ability? Rukia understood a lot in an instant, and sighed in her heart. Also a candidate Shinigami, the strength is so different. Lu Yu is truly an incomparable genius. It took me 3 months and I didn't have a clue yet, but Lu Yu has been able to do Shikai, the gap is really big. I'm afraid my brother doesn't have such talent. Quote. Rukia Kuchiki kept this matter in his heart and kept it as a secret, and did not ask Lu Yu what Zanpakuto ability was. In fact, Professor Lu Yu's name is widely spread. Even the members of the great aristocracy are extremely envious of the auxiliary ability of all kinds of things. And even if Zanpakuto is not in the Shikai state, he can still show some of his power. Therefore, most people only think that Lu Yu has a hand in teaching and Reiatsu control. Only Rukia, who has experienced the benefits of everything, can know how pervert the power of this Zanpakuto is. Omnipotent, Almighty God. Chapter 43. Through these days of continuous practice, Lu Yu's understanding and control of his Zanpakuto has reached a state of perfection. This allows him to more easily and covertly activate the shikai abilities of all kinds. There is indeed the ability to dominate everything. To be precise, the ability of all kinds of things includes two aspects, analysis and domination. With a lot of Reiatsu infusion, Senluo Wanxiang can analyze all things, and can control the things and abilities after the analysis is completed. If accurate information about the target is known before analysis, the ability to analyze and dominate will be easier to activate. The more specific and accurate the information that is known, the deeper the control will be. For example, Lu Yu was able to suppress Hirenmaru quickly because he knew all kinds of information about Hirenmaru. The ability to analyze everything is the premise of the ability to dominate. Lu Yu Zanpakuto's analytical ability can be activated when he is not a shikai, but he cannot analyze things that are too complicated and too unfamiliar. As far as Shinigami is concerned, as long as there are not too many skills and experience beyond Lu Yu's strength, he can quickly analyze and master quickly. In the past, Lu Yu controlled and analyzed his Reiatsu and his spiritual body through everything. As a result, his skills in the four major aspects of slashing fists, ghosts and walking have made amazing rapid progress, and even reached the level of surpassing the level of an official. It can be said that the ability of this Zanpakuto alone is enough for Lu Yu to spend his whole life to become the master. Like Ryujin Jaka and Hirenmaru, Senluo Wanxiang is Zanpakuto, who has infinite possibilities and can continue to grow stronger and develop. However, all kinds of abilities are not perfect. If Lu Yu encounters two powerful enemies, it will take a long time for Lu Yu to complete the process of parsing to domination. The cost of Reiatsu in this process will also reach an astronomical figure. To put it bluntly, this is an ability that costs Reiatsu more than Kyoku Suigetsu. Strong is really strong. The Reiatsu is also really expensive. At the same time, there is an extremely demanding requirement for Reiatsu's control ability. It can be said that if this Zanpakuto falls into the hands of an ordinary Shinigami, this seemingly invincible ability may become an existence like a family, and there is no threat at all. At best, it is a useful learning tool. But in the hands of Lu Yu, who has a super soul body, it becomes a bug-like all-around ability. Just like the perfection between the big boss Aizen and Kyoku Suigetsu, who is the pinnacle of the fantasy system, Lu Yu's super spiritual body and powerful perception are also perfectly matched with all things. This demanding and capable pervert Zanpakuto is literally tailor-made for an oversoul body. Both Zanpakuto and Shinigami are extremely similar in phase. After all, each Zanpakuto contains a part of the user himself, which can be regarded as a clone or a contract summoning similar. Because Lu Yu habitually applies the abilities of all things to various aspects, in order to improve his ability to control all things. So although Lu Yu has not yet learned the ultimate liberating form of Shinigami, Bankai, he has been able to become a silent shikai without using the liberating language. Relying on this trick, Lu Yu learned the secret sword of Tsunayashiro's family. This alone is enough to make many Shinigami drop their jaws. The relationship between the super soul body and all things is too strong. Of course, Lu Yu had to concentrate on this process, and it couldn't be used for combat, only for support. However, it is more suitable to assist a few friends in their cultivation. Just now, Lu Yu deliberately performed Shikai, which is full of all kinds of things, to improve the structure of this top-level package, so that people can absorb the nutrients in it more quickly, so as to quickly enhance spiritual power. It's just a pity that such an opportunity for improvement is only the most obvious for the first time, and then it needs to be maintained slowly and for a long time. After some analysis, Lu Yu also knew that there are many rare substances in this package that are extremely beneficial to the spiritual body. The first time it is ingested, the effect is the best, the stimulation to the spiritual body is the greatest, and it can further develop the potential of Shinigami. After that, the effect will become weaker and weaker, so Lu Yu only intends to do it once. When they parted, Rukia also agreed with Lu Yu to ask him a lot about the practice of kendo and slashing. Rukia is relatively weak in this regard. If it weren't for the lack of talent in kendo, Rukia would not have missed the special class and was forced to be separated from his childhood companions. As a member of the Kuchiki family, her eldest brother is also a captain-level powerhouse, so of course she will not lack the guidance of famous teachers. Saying this is just because Rukia completely recognized Lu Yu and hoped to get along with him more. In this regard, Lu Yu also readily agreed. It was the familiar midnight again, Lu Yu said with great excitement to the super punch-in system in the Sea of Knowledge. The system, I want to punch in. I met a lot of big guys today, this time the reward should be a little stronger. Trembling hands, excited heart. Ding. Congratulations to host for checking in successfully, interacting with the plot characters to increase the reward level, and congratulations to host for getting a purple A-level reward, Dragon Ball Spirit Time House Capsule Limited Edition. A-level items are still the spiritual time house that can be called a bug. Lu Yu was overjoyed. This reward is really good, especially for my current self. However, thinking of the incredible time flow and the powerful cultivation effect of the spiritual time house, Lu Yu was still a little puzzled. This thing can be used infinitely. After all, within a limited period of time, you can raise your own strength to an unimaginable level and achieve a Jedi comeback. It is no exaggeration to say that this effect is a boss horror house. This has to be at least an S-class, right? As far as the effect of cultivation is concerned, not to mention the S level, even the SR level is possible. After all, this involves the power of time and space. Is the A level a bit too low? However, when Lu Yu read the introduction of this item, he immediately understood why. This is a special capsule invented by Boomer and Vegeta's son Trunks in the future of some Dragon Ball parallel world. After using this capsule, you can summon the spiritual time room anytime, anywhere. 1 year has passed in it, and only 1 day has passed in the outside world. Because this is a limited edition, it can only be used once. After being summoned, it disappears after 3 days in the outside world, and it can only be used by the host alone. Note, the number of punch cards in the Spirit Time House is the same as the time in the main world, and it is not affected by the flow of time. So ruthless. Not a chance. Originally, Lu Yu thought that he had found a bug, and he could lick the wool of the system to his heart's content. You must know that because of the flow of time, 1 day in the outside world is equivalent to 365 days in the spiritual time house. Originally, I could only punch in once, but now I can punch in 365 times. This is not cool. It's a pity that other people's systems have long expected, the card is very dead, and there is no loophole at all. Lu Yu couldn't hide his joy when he looked at the spiritual time house capsule flashing with a faint purple light in the punch-in space. With this A-level item, my future plans go even more smoothly. The goal that seemed impossible to achieve at first has now seen a hint of possibility of success. Chapter 44. For ordinary Shinigami, 3 years of practice seems to be of little use. After all, Shinigami's practice is measured in 10 years, or even centuries. If the talent potential is average, let alone 3 years is 30 years, Shinigami's strength will not be greatly improved. But for the amazingly talented Lu Yu, 3 years are enough to make a fundamental change in his strength. At present, he has played a solid foundation, but he is still a long way from the real captain level. In addition to Reiatsu, Lu Yu's training in Zongquan Ghost Walk is lacking compared to the ordinary captain level. After all, people have accumulated hundreds of years to achieve their current achievements. Want to tie for a while, unless Lu Yu clocks into the same level of talent as the Supersoul. For Lu Yu now, the most important thing is time. He has infinite potential, and Lu Yu has the confidence to surpass anyone if he is given enough time. Especially the perfect Shikai he gets right away. At that time, there will be a lot of abilities and things waiting for him to analyze. After becoming stronger, Lu Yu needs to spend a lot of time to become a better master. The stronger the Zanpakuto, the more powerful the ability, the more Reiatsu it needs, and the more time it takes to get familiar with and master. With Lu Yu's talent, 3 years have been enough for him to master the proficient evolution of all things, and there may be more than that. If he really mastered the perfect Shikai's all kinds of things, and mastered the essence of Yan Luo's sword intent, then maybe Lu Yu would really have a chance to defeat the captain. And it's not just an ordinary captain, but a veteran captain, such as the Kiraku Shunsui I met today. With a bit of luck, he might even have a chance to touch the edge of Bankai, and maybe even get to start Master Bankai. Facing those veteran captains in this way, Lu Yu's odds of winning were improved to 100%. If he beat the regular captain, he might not be eligible for promotion yet, but if Lu Yu had Bankai, he beat a captain like Kyoraku Shunsui. So even the conservative Yamamoto captain won't say much, he can only be promoted to captain. After becoming the captain, Lu Yu will inevitably be noticed by more people, and he cannot hide his strength better. It's impossible for him to keep a low profile by then. Even a good guy captain like Aizen wouldn't think he was weak. However, there are good and bad. After serving as the captain, Lu Yu will be able to gain more authority and mobilize more manpower and resources to serve his ultimate goal. He is very jealous of all the knowledge and resources in Seraiti. The big tree in Jingalingting is very thick. Lu Yu felt that he could use his own hands like Aizen Sosuke and Snake Shield. And the Shinigami here is also Lu Yu's favorite subordinate. Although the Arankar and Manos Grande of Hawako Mundo are not unusable, the virtual creature has inherent and irreparable flaws after all. It's not like Shinigami from Soul Society is like normal people, and many Shinigami are emotionally rich and easy to fool. Otherwise, Aizen would not have developed the Hawako Mundo Soul Society branch base, with the resources and connections here. So far, Lu Yu's goals have remained the same. What he seeks is still the road of immortality and immortality. And it is the kind of immortality that is absolutely autonomous and can control its own destiny, not the kind of false immortality with various restrictions. Under the premise of possessing absolute power, Lu Yu does not mind creating an ideal perfect world to pass the endless time. Of course, the premise is that he must ensure that he has absolute power. With absolute power comes absolute certainty. It means that you can control your own destiny 100%. In the broken world of Shinigami, there is no absolute power, and you really don't know what will happen to you. After all, in this world, there are too many monsters and monsters. The Spirit King, the source of all extraordinary power and immortal existence, is still lying there in the Spirit King Palace, not even a dead person. So even though his strength was soaring like a rocket, Lu Yu still didn't have the slightest sense of pride. He really didn't dare to take it lightly. The next morning, Hinamori Momo sat at the table, happily looking at himself in the mirror. She has already begun to imagine the beautiful scene with Lu Yu today. There was a faint blush on her lovely white face, and at this moment Hinamori Momo seemed to be intoxicated by her own imagination. The roommate next to him looked at Hinamori Momo enviously and said, "It's so good, you and Lu Yu have such a good relationship. He is now a big hit in our college. I don't know how many girls are playing him, I heard that even the senior sisters are no exception. But Lu Yu was very reliable and didn't give anyone a chance to get close. Hinamori, you gotta do your best and take your chances, don't let those bad women get their way." Quote. "Ahaha, there's no chance, I don't know what you're talking about." The roommate's remarks made Hinamori Momo's already red face burst into steam. After calming down, she thought that tomorrow would be the day when Lu Yu would take the graduation exam, and her expression changed. Hinamori Momo secretly told himself in his heart that he must be strong, and he must not let Lu Yu worry about him anymore. Soon Lu Yu will have an early graduation exam, and he can't hold him back any longer. Today Lu Yu decided to relax and go shopping with Hinamori Momo, Hitsugaya Toshiro and others. Always combine work and rest. Their head teacher, Daewoo Nahara, Yan Wulong, readily granted leave and asked Lu Yu to take the exam and get good grades. Now Lu Yu is the pride of their class, and even the pride of the entire Spiritual Arts Academy. Sometimes, these people in Seraiti are also very talkative, as long as they are stronger than them. When shopping this time, Lu Yu did not encounter any famous people, nor did he encounter any unsightly villains to spoil the fun. This is because the place they chose is close to the area of Rukongai. If you go to Noble Street and come into contact with those nobles like celestial dragons, maybe Lu Yu's all kinds of things will be bloody. Lu Yu, thank you. It's great that you can be Shinigami. With a happy smile, Hinamori Momo looked at Hitsugaya Toshiro, who was happily fishing for goldfish not far away, and whispered to Lu Yu. Such a day was the life she imagined when she was talking to Lu Yu in the yard. I thought it could only happen in a dream. But because of Lu Yu, it all became a reality. For this, Hinamori Momo is grateful to Lu Yu from the bottom of his heart. The girl also felt extremely happy and joyful for Lu Yu's thoughtfulness and caring for her. Such a life, such a situation, is like a dream. Intoxicating. Chapter 45. Seeing Hinamori Momo's beautiful smile, Lu Yu couldn't help but be moved. He smiled and said, "It's okay, this is what I should do. I'm also very happy to see you so happy." This is true, Lu Yu has no interest in being a lonely king. He is still very concerned about his friends. As he spoke, Lu Yu felt a faint reiatsu fluctuation. When he looked up, he saw Hitsugaya Toshiro, with his sleeves rolled up, secretly mobilizing the power of Hirenmaru. The invisible power of freezing freezes the soap bubbles used for fishing. This is clear grabbing. Lu Yu couldn't bear to look directly at Xiaobai's ruthless operation. Just catching a fish, is it necessary to use Hirenmaru's abilities? The fisherman is definitely not the Air Force, is he? Be yourself. Xiaobai, who originally said that he hated his own power, has learned to use this power to steal fish. So fragrant. However, this also proves that Hitsugaya Toshiro's use of Hirenmaru and Reiatsu is not what it used to be. It was impossible to suppress the spread of the power of freezing before, but now it can be used to sanction unscrupulous merchants. Lu Yu could see at a glance that the most beautiful and most energetic bright red carp was not an ordinary fish at all, but a kind of spiritual fish. So it is almost impossible to get it with the tools provided by the merchant. However, this middle-aged uncle with a goatee did not expect that someone would be equally indifferent and even use the power of Zanpakuto here. This makes Lu Yu, who has worked so hard on Hitsugaya Toshiro, very gratified. Compared with the original book, Xiaobai entered school several years earlier. However, in terms of strength, it surpassed the level of Hitsugaya Toshiro in the original book when he entered school. At least it won't take a year at all this time for Xiaobai Hitsugaya Toshiro to wake up Hirenmaru, Master Shikai. In addition, in the aspect of Zongquan Ghost Walk, under the careful guidance of Lu Yu, it is also significantly stronger than the ordinary sixth rebirth, and it is almost close to the ordinary Shinigami. There is of course the reason why Hitsugaya Toshiro is a super genius in his own right, but Lu Yu's teaching is also credited. Moreover, the improvement of Hinamori Momo is not small, which also proves that Lu Yu is very good at teaching. Lu Yu showed this amazing teaching ability, but even the nobles were moved. Many people have proposed to make Lu Yu a guest teacher at Spiritual Arts Academy. This is mainly due to the credit of all things, plus Lu Yu has insight and experience that people in this world do not have. Spiritual Arts Academy doesn't pay attention to cultural classes, which actually makes him a little regretful. This leaves no room for Lu Yu's title-taking tactics. Such advanced teaching methods cannot be passed down to form traditional virtues. This is a great fortune for the students and a great misfortune for the Seraiti teaching community. After spending 1,000 rings and cheating with Reiatsu, Hitsugaya Toshiro finally caught the little red carp. Looking at the red carp swimming flexibly in the water tank, he thought contentedly, "What's the name?" Zhao Hong. Today's shopping, the three of them had a great time. Lu Yu also felt very relaxed. In fact, since there are all kinds of things, he has not squeezed himself desperately. Cultivation depends on the interest in extraordinary power and the desire for immortality. In the afternoon, when Lu Yu and the three returned to Spiritual Arts Academy, they happened to meet a captain who came to inspect. In fact, it was like a leadership talk, in order to boost the morale of Lu Wusheng, who was about to graduate and play a leading role. Simply put, it's a pie. The captain-level character Spiritual Arts Academy students are rarely seen, so naturally they are very curious and gather around them one after another. As a result, the two sides of the main road were densely filled with Spiritual Arts Academy students, all looking at the captain in the center of the road with envy, awe, reverence, and yearning. Hinamori Momo and Hitsugaya Toshiro gathered around curiously. "Hey, it's the captain, it's amazing. Let me see how powerful this captain is he really strong?" While discussing, the two tried to squeeze forward. Just facing the thick wall of people, the two little guys can't do anything at all. Seeing this scene, Lu Yu did not hesitate, and stepped forward to separate the crowd. Just listening to the discussions of these people, combined with the timing of the appearance, Lu Yu can guess that the person who comes must be Aizen Huyusuk, a famous speaker, politician, and careerist of the Soul Society. At the same time, the opponent's strength is also ranked first in the entire Shinigami world. Such a powerful boss with double commerce is indeed very attractive in animation. It's not that interesting when it appears in the real world, and possibly for itself. However, Lu Yu has no idea of avoiding it. He knows that Aizen, the big boss, has to face it all the time. He is so confident in his absolute concealment that even Reiatsu's top-notch Aizen can't find his hidden Reiatsu. Besides, what if he was discovered? Could Aizen still be able to find himself with the silver-haired pony carrying Kyoka Suigetsu? In fact, there is no irreconcilable conflict between the two. Even if the other party wants to play yin, the current Lu Yu is not afraid. Not even more afraid when he gets the perfect Shikai tomorrow. Led by Lu Yu, the three squeezed to the front of the crowd and saw a middle-aged man wearing a white feather weave with an extremely powerful imposing manner. This man with thick-rimmed glasses and a bookish look is the captain of the 5th Division, Aizen Sosuke. Behind him, followed by a young man with silver hair, squinting and wondering what he was thinking. This snake-like Shinigami in a black death fighter suit is Ichimaru Jin, the vice-captain of Division 5. Lu Yu observed the two with interest. At the same time, he slowly unfolded everything. This is to prevent Aizen from suddenly getting interested and performing some kind of running water Zanpakuto. In that case, Lu Yu turned around and left without saying a word. Kyoka Suigetsu's reputation as the strongest fantasy type is not for nothing, and even Lu Yu's ability to complete hypnosis is very jealous. Even if he was targeted by Aizen, he couldn't just fool Kyoka Suigetsu. That's too passive. Aizen Sosuke, who was walking slowly, with a solid body erupting all over Reiatsu, stared straight ahead, with a refined and easy-going expression, as if he didn't notice the three of Lu Yu at all. No matter how you look at it, this is a solid and reliable captain, with an appearance and expression that looks very harmless and very reassuring. This is the captain. So strong. Hinamori Momo's eyes widened. After being polite, she was a little hesitant, but she didn't seem to be that strong. Huh, why am I thinking this way? It doesn't feel very good. It seems to be similar to Lu Yu. Hitsugaya Toshiro curled his lips and whispered, feeling a little disappointed in his heart. In fact, Hinamori Momo also felt this way, but he was embarrassed to say it. I don't know if the captain is too weak or Lu Yu is too strong. In short, the original mythical captain and Lu Yu were just like that, not as shocking and invincible as imagined. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.